Do you feel like all of your passes go to the wrong player? I don't know how many times. Since 27 updated, and I'm not sure why. But since 27 updated, I feel like my passes consistently go to the wrong player. Now, it's so much so, I'm not going to lie for this game. I turned Smart Assist on for this game. I normally have it off, and normally I'm on level 3 passing, but it's been so bad that I said to myself, I need to try legitimately something different. And this play, to me, is shocking because this is in my view, what should be a basic touch pass. Now, I guess you could say that I used too much power. I'm not sure. But I just feel like, even without this play in itself, not necessarily this play, I feel like I am saying to myself 5 or 6 times a game, hey, that went to the wrong guy. In fact, I used to be able to do a pass with the goalie and pass it to a center back and build up from there, and I stopped doing that because I feel like there's like a 75% chance or 50-50 chance, okay, I don't want to exaggerate, but it feels like if we're being legitimate, if we're having a conversation, it feels like about 20% of the time it's a 50-50 ball. Right? So not every pass. Obviously, if this was a problem on every pass, then this whole build-up sequence would not have worked. So that's an accurate pass. That's an accurate pass. That's an accurate pass. That's an accurate pass. Right? So the majority of the time, it works quite well. But when it seems to really matter the most, it's either creating an opportunity unnecessarily for my opponent, or it's stealing an opportunity for me. Now, I gotta say, Smart Assist on Tier 2 passing, or Tier 2 passing, feels better to me. Now, I don't know why, because on last year's game, on 2026, this was Tier 3, or Level 3 passing, worked really well for me. It was fine. But man, oh man, so many games. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it was fine to pass to that guy. And I saw a YouTuber who makes these videos. Very popular. I don't know his name. I'm not familiar with these guys' names. And I was watching him do a stream, or at least part of one. I think it was recorded. And he made the comment like, well, I guess that works. Right? I wasn't trying to pass to that guy. And he made a comment that he felt like the game was different. So again, and I don't want to bring in another conversation into this video, but in the same sense, it's kind of proper to, because I also feel like the switch stick, there's this situation where there's a guy on the left, a guy on the right, and a guy in the middle, and it's like you can't select the guy in the middle. And so, I don't know, fam, it could be that tier or level 3 passing now feels like level 2. And I don't know if I can attribute that game to coincidence. This is the first game that I legitimately won this game. Now, this guy quit a little bit early. He was up 1-0 and he left. Right? But this is the first legitimate game that I've won, and I say this because I have been getting my ass blown out of the water. I don't have anything to hide, right? I'm simply here saying this is what's been happening. I've been getting blown out of the water. And this game, legitimately, for the first 70 minutes, I controlled this game. And the only changes that I made, now coincidence or not, I can't say for sure, but let me show you the 2 changes. I switched to a 4-3-2-1 instead of a 4-2-1-3. So first and foremost, that was big because my bench isn't amazing. James Rodriguez is great. And I also decided, you know what, screw it. I've spent so much time adjusting the stats. Let's just balance everything out and let the game do it for me. So I did that as well. And then, and it's interesting. This should be interesting because I'm going to run a few more games and see what happens. The other change that we made was within the settings. And like I said, if I show you, I'm going to tell you what I normally use, and I'm going to tell you what I use for this game. So what I use for this game is I finally turned on Smart Assist. I was like, let's turn this on. All right, I have this on semi-assist. It's always been on semi-assist. I feel like that works best. I have this at ball-oriented. I actually prefer player-oriented if it wasn't so damn slow. It's just too slow. So ball-oriented, this is what I've always used. Well, not this. I had smart assist off. Semi-assist, ball-oriented. That's what I've always used. And then for passing, I've always had it on. And I guess when you have smart assist on, you go down to level 1 passing. Is that true? I guess it is. Passing, I've always had on level 3. And that's always worked very well. And also, I've always had this on advanced. These were the only changes. You know, it should be interesting because maybe it's not that, maybe I'm just not very good at the base game. I don't know, but it feels like, again, my passes seem to go wherever they want. And so far, I would say this is the most success I've had with passing with smart assist on. And that seems lame to me because I'm really playing in the same way. I don't spam through balls. You saw my build-up sequence. That's what my goal consistently is. I don't try to win in this game. Obviously, you saw my stats. My goal right now is if I can just produce a great play, if I can just produce a great build-up, then I feel happy about that. If I can keep games close, then I feel happy about that. I'll play a couple games, 2 to 3 games a day, moving forward, and I'll feel happy about that. But for some reason, it feels easier to perform with these settings versus my settings before. So we will continue to see. Going to run a couple other games, see if this was just an anomaly or if this was legitimate. But I'd like to know what's been going on for you, if you've been having issues passing the ball, if this has been a problem on your side, what settings you find are best, if you tried something different. I also did get a legitimate manager, so I did switch from a long ball counter to long ball. And I ran that only because of the fact that the manager, and I didn't know this, where's my manager at? Frank Lampard, 89 on the long ball. Previously, I was using Ripa, I'd imagine, previously. And so maybe that makes a difference as well. I'm not sure. I wouldn't think it would be that impactful, but potentially it is. So, yeah, I guess some things to learn, but this was the first game, like I said, where, you know, for this guy's rank, and we played the first 70 minutes and then he left. So I won 3-0, but I don't call it that. I won 1-0, but very well it could have been, you know, 1-1 had he played out. He left. I don't know what happened. He left at the 70-minute mark. Maybe he just said screw it, and he was done. So I don't give myself a 3-0 win. It could have been 1-1, or for all I know, you know, somebody else got on. I'm not exactly sure, right? And I legitimately sent this guy a message, and I was like, hey, curious, you know, to see if this has been a problem for you too with this passing. So let's run another match and see what happens. But again, like I said, I'd like to know what your thoughts are below, and appreciate you.